Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Women in Wisdom with the beautiful women all over the world who are here to support us all in shining brightly and offering our insight, our life experiences, our own self-illumination and stories so we can, help each other, lift each other up, align, connect, and live life how we're supposed to be living. So this is inspired by our real life experiences and what we're all kind of going through ourselves. And we want to share with you and kind of just maybe just explore what it means to wait and the power of waiting. Because life is always happening, but we have a program and a condition and a belief that we're here to make things happen. And in that is struggle. So, it's this balance between effort and effortlessness, between force and power. And so I just will open the floor to what it means to wait and what your experience of that is. Is it challenging for you, or are you able to find your flow in waiting? So I know for me, waiting's been a challenge. So I've been going through that. So I'm happy to hear from you. I'm sorry, Arlette, go ahead.
I'm saying you're talking about the power of waiting. And the thought that comes to my mind is, how do you achieve waiting while maintaining a positive and a good attitude in the process?
That's a great question. Let me ask you that in return. How do you wait while having a good attitude? How do you wait and trust that life is going to bring you exactly what you need? Where do you find that within yourself?
Such a powerful place to be. In order to wait patiently or with a positive attitude, it cannot be done if you don't really activate your belief and your trust system in you. The trust that there is a power greater than you, to connect with that and to believe that everything comes to you at the right time. So for me, when I feel myself, I'm getting a little bit frustrated while waiting. Maybe I've tried enough and I cannot see the results. Maybe that day I'm feeling a little bit down, like why it's not happening. So I try to get rid of the resistance, to ask myself why it's not happening. And I automatically shift my thoughts into more empowering thoughts by saying to myself, hold on for a minute. You are going to choose faith now. You are going to believe now. You're going to choose trust now. Everything is coming to you at the perfect time. Just carry on doing what you're doing. And if it's something that is beyond you, just release it. Release the control. Release it to God, to the universe, to whoever. And it really helps me when I do that. That's what I do.
So as you were sharing that, I was watching how your energy was moving and, with the different things you were saying. And so when you're talking about, I've tried this and I'm getting frustrated, there's this tension there, there's this force, there's this effort, right? And then you said, and then you shifted gears and I'm just going to have faith, I'm going to trust. And you just became more open and you sat back within yourself. And the image that came to mind, and I'm sure Michaela shared this with me before, is the image of waiting for a bus, right? You're at the bus stop and you're not going to be chasing the buses. Is that my bus? Is that my bus? Is that my bus? You're going to wait for the right bus to come along and you say, I'm going to get on this one. Nope, I'm going to wait for the next one. And that is the place where you have power to choose. And I think when we talk about responding to life, that's also kind of, implied here in the power of waiting. It's like if you wait and then you can respond. Otherwise, you're just, chasing your tail. So, Arta.
Wow, what an amazing topic. And we are all so different. I think the interesting thing about this conversation is that we have different perspectives. And we are, like, for me, for example, patience has been one of the biggest challenge, like the challenge of my life and the lesson of my life, to become more relaxed, more patient, like more trusting, really. This is so important. But on the other hand, I am really an action taker. And I know that about myself. So there are things that I don't have to wait for, but the things that I know that work, things that I know that I don't need to wait for an inspiration to go to the gym, because I know that when I go to the gym, I get a lot more energy. And then, you know, I don't need to wait for something to do the things that work. And I am motivated by guilt according to human design, right? Which is interesting. So I cannot wait for someone else to come and make things happen for me. And as a designer, for example, how I experience it, or as an artist, is I want to wear this freaking gorgeous blouse, but I cannot afford, because it costs maybe, you know, 1,000 euros from this designer. I make it myself, you know, and as I make it myself, because I have this motivation, I don't have to wait for this blouse to fall off my head. I make it myself, and other people ask me, but can you make it for me also? Because it's so nice, you know, and then the whole sort of business starts to move ahead as well from this internal thing. So it's like, for me, it's really a balance, being patient with, I am waiting and allowing myself space for creative ideas, for new ideas. When I'm like really creating something new, I give myself a lot of space. But when I know that something works, then I don't wait for it. I just go ahead.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. There was a question I had for you around with the dress and everything. Like, when you were waiting, you received the impulse, but it was more inspiration. It wasn't necessarily something from the outer world. You were still receiving from life, but it was coming more as inspiration. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, because I noticed in my life this pattern. When I was younger, I thought, I wish I had such a thing. I wish I had a coach. I don't like what I see around. I wish I had the biodegradable lingerie, right? I designed it myself from orange silk. I innovated. And I did not, if I would just wait, then I would not be innovating, no? So I think this is the thing. Like, I want to have a coach which can go into my personal strengths. I never had such a coach, so I create myself into such a coach, you know. So this is my response into life, and here is where I don't wait to create what I want to have for myself.
Yeah, so there's definitely a flow between waiting and then when to take action. So the action is response to the waiting.
Yeah. Yes.
Did someone jump in? Who did I hear? I heard somebody. Camilla.
Really? Well, as you probably see, the topic brought the resistance immediately. And I have only one question. What the hell is patience?
Exactly. How do you develop your patience?
But it's not true. It's not true. I already know how it tastes and I love it, but I don't have it enough. This is obvious. Nevertheless, in the past, we were all calling me the skeptic, and then the questioner, not the skeptic, but this time I question what we're talking about. Patience and waiting, perfect. But there is a very special quality of this waiting. And it's not the way that you will be lying on the bed or your sofa and waiting, because it brings nothing. Arlette mentioned that do what you do and wait for your opportunity. So this is the key. Do the things. I had a friend, a French lady, Agnès, and she used to say, il faut faire des choses. We have to do things and they will come back to us. And this is true. And if I would say something about waiting, it's about being patient in trying and waiting actively, waiting trying the things this or that way. And Arta mentioned that she created the blouse and other people asked to have the same kind of blouse. And it's cool, but the blouse was visible for other people. So what we do must be visible. And then let's wait for the opportunity. And this way, being patient this way is fine. So for all the doers, it's do and wait.
Do. I think it's so important what you said, that there's like this activity to the waiting. It's not a passive nature, but it's kind of like a soft openness to perceive in a wider scope, so you can see more of what's available to you to respond, right? So we can wait, but we're paying attention in a different way. Like for me, my process in waiting is actually through movement. So when I go for a walk, or I dance, or I move my body, or I even driving, or in the shower, I get that's moving water. I get a lot of inspiration in those moments of waiting, and it'll drop in literally, like I'll feel it go boom, and I receive, or then I'll get an email or a phone call or a message, or I think in the waiting, there's this magnetic, attractive quality to it, because it's there. Michaela.
Yeah, it's what I somehow described before, and what you were telling all of you is amazing, because I love this with the waiting at the bus station. You really know the bus will come, so, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to pull the bus to your station, and I love this really. And it was like I described before, I prepare myself to go tango dancing, and I have to go to this place where I found my things I love to do. So, and I'm sit there, and many times before I doing things, so I look at the people, or I go there, and I go there, they should look at me, and they should invite me to dance. So I do a lot of things outside, and not put my intention to my inner self. How do I feel? Feel I judges? Feel I is my feeling good? And how do I vibrate outside my glowing or shining, my being a woman, being a beautiful woman? And when I do this, so much is changing, because the people the men, the dancers are looking at me. And they even come to me. And I never imagined that they come to me. Even yesterday, I sit at the place where somehow nobody could see me, and then the dancers are coming to me and invite me for dancing. I don't have to do anything. I sit there, be open, be inside myself, really in the now. And that's, for me, as a relaxation and consciousness trainer, that's the being in the now, not being in my mind and try to somehow fix something, or think about how will the dancing be when I'm invited. So being in the future or being in the past, what was happening the last day I was going dancing. So really be in the now, and be an emotion in myself in the now, and then waiting and looking and be open to receive the what's coming to me then, and then take action. When I get the invitation of the man who wants to dance with me, I have to take action. So I have to say, I want to dance with you, and then go to the dance floor and have a really nice dance. And even there, it is to be in the now, to be in the connection, to be in the movement of the energy and the music, and everything is happening there. And it's amazing. So what I really realize is we were trained to do things in the outside, to change the outside. So that's sometimes really difficult, and you need so much strength to do these things. And it could be more easily when you be in this waiting process, you put the intention outside, what do you want to have or do or something like that, and create it in the inside, and then waiting and be patient. And this patient thing is so, it could be so difficult to and even trusting, because we were not trained to do it in that way. But we can, like a playing with that, try it out with little things you really know. And that's why I love this bus stop thing. It's amazing because you really know the bus will come. So sometimes
But you have to be on the bus stop.
you have to be at the bus stop. Yeah, that's right.
I remember years ago when I was traveling somewhere, I was at the airport and there was a delay, and I was in a queue and there was chaos. Everybody was shouting, screaming, and this was my old version. Getting in queues, like getting really triggered, really getting annoyed, looking at my watch, and like, feeling all the frustration, like, don't put me on a queue. It drives me crazy. And I remember there was this guy next to me, exactly next to me, and he was in a very zen, and he was singing, and I could hear him from my ears. And I turned around and I told him, like, with frustration, how can you do that? Look around you, look what's happening around you. How can you be so calm and so patient, and you're like in a completely different world than what's happening around you? And he told me, do you think that this state that I'm in, do you think it's more difficult? It's more difficult to be the state that you guys are in, because you guys are like, it's much easier, the state that I'm in, that I'm calmer, because I told myself there is nothing I can do. I cannot control the situation. Things happen for a reason. This is it. I'm stuck here for a couple of hours. I cannot find the peace amongst you crazy people. So I have to find it in me. And the way to find it in me is be patient, music. Look, I'm looking around you, but I'm not tuned into you guys. And at that time I was thinking, wow, what a nice way to be, but also totally unreachable. At that time I was saying to myself, it's not possible. There is no way I can be like that. This was like all my old version. We're talking about 15 years ago. And now I can say that it's completely doable to be in that state, because no matter what happens, it's what you guys are all saying, tune in and find that what the state gets on that state of mind, which is the present moment, which is now. And doesn't matter what happens around you. What really happens is what happens inside you, because we decide at any given moment what we want to feel and what we want to experience.
Wow, it's so powerful. Do you remember, did you feel calmer being next to him, or did it aggravate you even more because he was so calm in the midst of such frustration?
Oh my God, Brie, I remember very well that my focus was on him, because we started chatting after that, and I was completely calm. It didn't matter to me what was happening, because I don't know, we ended up discussing about things. And yeah, it was contagious. His energy was really contagious to me, but I took action, what you guys were saying, towards paying attention to him unknowingly, because I thought, it's so nice to be like that, but also frustrated at the same time. How can you do it? It's like, yeah. That totally shifted my energy and my focus from chaos to calm.
Amazing. Yeah, that's the power, right? That's the power we each have when we embody these states, no matter what the state, the influence it has on other people. And, you know, I was, as you guys know, I've been reading David Hawkins and his map of consciousness, and he actually qualified how many people, if you have a high state of consciousness, you can impact tens of thousands of people just by being in that state of consciousness that's above the level of 200, which is above the level of courage. So anything over that can massively impact the world around you. And so I think it really, you know, can inspire us to hold these states for ourselves so we can create the world together that we're wanting to live in. So when we cultivate this patience and this waiting, you know, then it will have massive ripples. And one of the things that I keep hearing from each of you, which I think is really important and I want to highlight, is when you're talking about frustration, right, or the anxiety and all of these other states, right, that's a clue that we're out of alignment with ourself, with the natural flow of life. Right. But when we cultivate this patient waiting, this open, receptive waiting, you know, and we feel like the waves and cycles moving through us, and we feel that in the body. And so, like Michaela was saying, we want to explore this. And how do we do that? And we do it through the body. Right. So I would, you know, we just have a few minutes left, but, you know, do you each want to share quickly, like what you notice in your body when you're not aligned with waiting patiently and when you are, like, so, because we each feel things differently.
Very good question. I'm in nerves. I'm disconnected to myself. I can feel it. When I'm connected, I'm calm, and I have calmness in, I would say, in all the cells of my body. When I'm disconnected and I'm in this vibration of hurry, I'm starting to feel like I'm not in my own body. It's this kind of feeling.
Yeah, for me, it is a big tension all over the body, and how maybe I don't know, the people outside will really say yes to that. It's a tension here. So many people have tensions here. So that's a good advice for you to really go through your body and look at it. Where do I feel the tension? So to play this game of now, stop. How do I feel? So that's what I'm doing when I'm waiting at the red light at the street or so. I'm looking, how do I feel every minute, and got back to my body. And when I feel tensive in my body, so that's for me the sign, okay, you have to come back and calm down. And even breath is a good connection to get back to my body and my feeling and my inside.
Beautiful.
For me, I feel the heaviness on my body. I like the heaviness. Suddenly, all my movements are very slow. Like my body is not moving smoothly. My patience, because generally I'm a patient person, but I see that I have no patience for anyone when I'm feeling like that, like this heaviness. And what works for me is to, when I'm like that, because I can't work, I cannot, my body is not as flexible, I go for a nap. And when I wake up, I feel lighter. Yeah, so I just distract and go for a nap.
I think for me, it's pressure on my mind. I feel like I have to figure something out. So I feel like some sort of tension mentally. And what helps me is to move my body and to drop down from my head to my body through going to the gym or going for a walk or just dancing.
Beautiful. So the dogs are here to let me know that it's time to end, but I have similar experiences. I get the thoughts, like the crazy thoughts going on, and I feel the, you know, my nervous system gets activated and tense, and I can even get headaches and things like that. So the body definitely lets me know. So I think it's really, you know, important to start paying attention to the body and have some useful tools like breathing, movement, sound, resting when we need to, eating cleanly, eating well, staying hydrated, getting out in nature. All of these things can really restore us back to the place of being receptive to the power of who we are. And with that, Thank you everyone for joining us. If you like what you got this weekend, like, subscribe, and share. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Blessings, everyone.
Bye, guys.